Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari. Yashodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribhaja Akacharya Ashto Tarashata Srimad Bhakti Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Lila Vishnu Vishnupada Ashto Tarashata Srimad Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vindi Ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासुदेव गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामकुंद राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर धाम की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की समबत भक्तवृंद की श्री युगदाम हरिनाम संकीर्तन की बृहद मृदंग की Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Gaur Premanandi. Glory to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Glory to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. First of all, I want to say it's a pleasure to be here. And although I don't get so many opportunities, no, as Prasad Maharaj says, that tasmat priya priya samyoga viyoga janma, that whatever we like, we're generally separated from it, and whatever we don't like, we're united with it. No, so that's the nature of this world. So I'm very happy to be here, especially to get the privilege of association with His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj and Gauranga Prabhu and all the Vaishnavas, and beg your blessings that I can say something of some significance. So, reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 13, text number 50. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the appearance, last verse of the chapter, appearance of Lord Varaha. Gunam loke purushartha sarabhit. Pura katanam bhagavat kata sudham. Apiya kananjali bir bhavapaham. Aho vidajeta vina naretaram. Namaloke purushartha sarabhit. Pura kathanam bhagavat kata sudham. Apiya karnam jali bhir bhavapaham. Aho bidhajita bina naritaram. Namaloke Purushata Saravit Rakatanam Bhagavat Kata Sudam Ahiya Karnanjala Jivavaparam Abo Vijaditya Vinanadekaram Pranamaloke Purushartha Saravit Purakatanam Bhagavat Kata Sudam Hapiya Karnam Jali Dir Bhavapaham O Vijadita Vinanadekaram Punamaloke Purushartha Saravit Purakatanam Bhagavat Kata Sudam Apiya Karnam Jali Devavapaham O Vijadita Vinanaditaram Namaloke Purushartha Saravit Nam Bhagavat Gita Sudam Apiya Karnam Jali Devarapaham O Vijadita Vinanaditaram Pranamaloke Purushartha Saravit Purakatanam Bhagavat Kata Sudam Apiya Karnam Jali Devavapaham O Vidajeta Vinanaditaram Ka Hu Nama Indeed Loke in the world Purusha Artha goal of life Saravit one who knows the essence of Purakatanam of all past histories Bhagavat regarding the personality of Godhead Kata Sudam the nectar of the narrations about the personality of Godhead Apiya by drinking Karna Anjali by oral reception Bhava Apaham that which kills all material pangs Aho alas Virajita could refuse Bina except Nara Itaram other than the human being. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Who, other than one who is not a human being, can exist in this world and not be interested in the ultimate goal of life? Who can refuse the nectar of narrations about the personality of Godhead's activities, by which itself deliver one from all material pangs? So everyone could please repeat. Who, other than one who is not a human being can exist in this world and not be interested in the ultimate goal of life? Who can refuse the nectar of narrations about the personality of Godhead's activities, which by itself can deliver one from all material pangs? Purport. The narration of the activities of the personality of Godhead is like a constant flow of nectar. No one can refuse to drink such nectar except one who is not a human being. Devotional service to the Lord is the highest goal of life for every human being. And such devotional service begins by hearing about the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Only an animal or a man who is almost an animal in behavior can refuse to take an interest in hearing the transcendental message of the Lord. There are many books and stories and histories in the world, but except for the histories or narrations on the topics of the personality of Godhead, none are capable of diminishing the burden of material pangs. Therefore, one who is serious about eliminating material existence must chant and hear of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Otherwise, one must be compared to the non-humans. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Appearance of Lord Varaha. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Ganang Jana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Vichaitanyamanovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakata Mahyam Dadati Swapatantikam Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatyarishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So when I looked at this verse, I just noticed something very interesting in a previous verse, verse number 48. It says, Ya enamitam hari medasa hare. And interesting, I found it very interesting that Srila Prabhupada translates Hari Medasa as, because one meaning of that could be that by one's intelligence, one understands Hari. But Srila Prabhupada translates it very differently. That who destroys the material existence of the devotee. So Medasa, which generally means intelligence, means that with our intelligence, if it's not focused on Krishna and not focused on the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, then unless we take away that material intelligence, then we are absorbed in material existence. So the intelligence can, just like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the mind can be our greatest friend or our greatest enemy. But the intelligence, being more subtle, can even be more of a friend and more of an enemy. Just like in the famous verse beginning the explanation or the answering the questions of the sages of Naimisharanya, Savai Pumsam Suparo Dharmo, and it ends Yayatma Suprasidati. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur translates that as satisfying the intelligence. Prabhupada translated satisfying the self. But without real intelligence, we can't understand the self. So I found that very interesting, just that previous verse, how Sanskrit is such a wonderful language because it's so versatile. But of course, if one doesn't know how to handle something that's versatile, he can make a big mess of everything, which Srila Prabhupada anticipated in the beginning of the movement. He began to give Sanskrit classes. Although Mukunda Maharaj, he said he actually thinks it was just a way to attract people and then give them bhakti. But whatever it was, Prabhupada soon afterwards stopped. And one of our most intellectually inclined devotees, he told him, don't study Sanskrit. Because he saw that some devotees were becoming a bit confused, by being absorbed in the language and not in the essence. So, in this verse, Ko nama loke, who is there in this world who purushartha saravit, who is interested in the goal of life? Of course, that eliminates about 99% or more of the population. So who among that small percentage would not be interested? Actually, everyone should be interested. But here, the verse begins by reducing down the humans and the non-humans. The dvipada pumsam and the dvipada pashu. And so who could not be interested? So that means that even in that small category of those who are looking for the goal of life, of course everyone, in one sense, looks for the goal of life, but a material goal. It's like when I do book distribution, not as much as I used to do personally, but one of my favorite ways of catching people's attention was saying, what is the goal of your life? We just like completely disarm them, You walk up to someone, hello, how are you? What's the goal of your life? Sometimes I carry a little clipboard as if I were doing a survey. I have the book under the papers, And that was necessary. Not so necessary in India, but where I was doing Sankirtan, it was, the airport in New Orleans, one of the most difficult places I ever did Sankirtan. People are big business people thinking, now I'm going to enjoy, and they were very determined. I have to relate one incident that happened. One man, because we were distributing Antyalila 4, of all books to, these businessmen. So because Prabhupada wanted these, we distributed them quickly so he could print the next copy. It's not like the BBT didn't have so much money at that time. So I gave him the Antyalila 4, and I always tried to get people who were just getting on their flight, so they wouldn't have time. But this man sat down and started reading. I said, And then, sure enough, he gets up and walks over to me, and I'm thinking, he's going to want to give this back, But he said, I have a question, So this Chaitanya Maha. Well, it says here he was in the ocean, and some people thought he was a ghost. So was he a real person and was he a ghost? So I thought, I'm going to go all the way on this one. He's God. And he said, oh, okay, thank you. And he went and sat down and kept reading. I was amazed. And I could see the genius of Srila Prabhupada, that even the way he explained things, even Ante Lila 4, which is so intimate, just, if someone who is Purushartha Saravit, actually really looking for the goal of life, even without any introduction, no Bhagavad Gita, no, the topmost yoga system, or ways that Prabhupada made these little books which would try to bring people to the point of understanding Bhagavad Gita, he dove into the nectar of Antya-lila. And he really looked like a highly materialistic person. So just like Queen Kunti says that Krishna disguises himself like an actor. So he was definitely disguised. I don't know what happened to him, but it was an interesting experience. So, and then Pura Kathanam. These histories, because the Bhagavatam itself, sometimes modern scholars, they say, yeah, this, Bhagavatam came about around, some say, around the 11th century or the 8th century. No, nobody says, except for us, 5,000 years ago. And but here, the Bhagavatam itself declares, Pura Kathanam, these ancient histories. So there's a significance to that. That ancient histories means something, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is there from the beginning. It's not like, the Lord appeared, or this is something that someone conjured up, some saintly person sitting around trying to figure out how to make people, more religious or something, as many scholars would have us believe. That they made up these stories with some moral and ethical, teaching, so that we could, but it's all just, fabricated. Even I've seen many times, even in India, they say, yes, according to our ancient mythology. So, but the Bhagavatam declares right here, that these ancient histories contain the essence, Bhagavat Katha Sudham, the nectar regarding the Supreme Personality of God. And then Srila Prabhupada, to emphasize, he says here, he actually, I see that this purport is kind of derived from the third verse of the Bhagavatam, Pipa Bhagavatam Rasam Alayam, Pipata Bhagavatam, that you drink. This is not something you read. This is something you drink. Just thinking of another verse. I can't remember right now how it begins. I think it's 2:35. Can you look that up? 35 or 36, something. Pibata Atmanam. I can't remember how it begins. Anyway, so this is something, and then it says, how do you do this? Apya karna anjalibhi. You drink through the ears. And they have to be pibanteye bhagavata atmata satam. That katam ritam, hari katam ritam. That you should drink this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is completely satisfying to the self, and it will completely satisfy the ears, and it will destroy material existence. That's what it says here, that this destroys material existence. Apaham, bhava apaham, that which kills all material pangs. So a devotee may say, well, I've been chanting, I've been hearing the Bhagavatam, but I still feel material pangs. And so what do we do about that? It seems like, is the Bhagavatam mistaken? Or am I incapable of understanding it? But it actually means if we go deep enough, just like Maharaj and I were speaking about dental situations, so they give you Novocaine so you don't feel the pain. So this Bhagavatam is if we learn to drink it, not just read it, it's not an intellectual exercise, which is said in verse 48. It's beyond that. And if we learn to drink it, then it will eliminate material pangs. Did Srila Prabhupada in his last months not have material pangs in the form of material physical suffering? The doctor said, I don't even know how he tolerates it, because there was no muscle to pad in between. We have muscles so our bones don't push against the nerves, but there was no muscle left practically, and just bone against nerves. We can't even imagine that. Speaking of dentists, I was at the dentist the other day, and one godbrother, Bindu Madhava Prabhu, was also there, same dentist, and he told me, dentist is probably the most fearful condition that I face in this life, and he said he was shaking, he was very nervous, and I said, don't worry, Prabhu, you'll get some Novocaine. I just came out, I was like, I could barely talk, and he said, don't worry, So when we feel these material pangs, which it says here, will be relieved by the nectar of the Srimad Bhagavatam, then we will, we will not feel them. Srila Prabhupada was translating up to the, 5 days before he left this world. He was translating. I mean, it's just, we can't even imagine that. We get a little headache or something and we can't concentrate. Yeah. But Prabhupada, so he was giving us that assurance. And if you become absorbed in this Bhagavatam, and especially Maharaj just inundated me with nectar from the old original songbook, and it says that the safest place in this material world is kirtan rasa. That is the safest place. Sometimes we think now there's a war going on, and let me find a safe place. I remember when Srila Prabhupada originally stated that there would be a war, some devotees were digging bunkers, in their backyard, and asking Srila Prabhupada. One devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, because in those days, they didn't have hypersonic missiles, so if a bomb came, you could probably hear the whistle. When a bomb comes, I've experienced this to some degree. When a bomb comes, you hear it. So one devotee was asking Srila Prabhupada, what do we do if we hear the bomb coming? And Prabhupada said, you begin kirtan. And you finish it in Vaikuntha, So this is, So we have this war going on, and we're thinking about this, what's going to happen, even the Prime Minister said this could affect our economy, this could affect, here in what to speak of, and so many American generals are saying this is insane war, stop it, and just so much insanity, but a devotee, following Srila Prabhupada's example in World War II, they were telling Prabhupada to take shelter. He said, well, I have to finish prasadam. Bombs are falling and Prabhupada worried about finishing prasadam, that honoring the Lord's prasadam. I have to say this, that I had the great fortune in 1976 to stay right outside of Srila Prabhupada's room, because I was a better typist than anybody else that was around. So they gave me a typewriter and I sat right out there and I slept right there, so I could always be available. And so whenever I could, I would sneak up to Prabhupada's window. He didn't like so much that people would sit there when he was taking prasadam. As Prabhupada said, one should not see the Guru eating or sleeping, otherwise you will think he's an ordinary person. So Prabhupada was alone. And so I would, and almost every time I did it, I would see Prabhupada in the beginning, when he started taking prasadam, he would take it and he would hold it up like this and look at it. You could see he was seeing Krishna. And then he would take. And then he would start taking. And then they would catch me and pull me away from the window. So, but just to see how, prasadam, so, sometimes we just, they have a saying in America, finger licking good, so we just take prasadam like this, I'm eating. But Prabhupada was honoring, and he gave us this term, honoring prasadam, not eating prasadam. And so this verse is teaching us. This is what we should be looking for, to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the pastimes. So the main part of his purport, Srila Prabhupada, is pretty evident, especially because of the last line in this verse. That he's taking it from the beginning of the 10th canto. A very beautiful verse. Nivrittatar Shire Viyamana. That Nivrittatar Shire, this nectar of the Bhagavatam will relieve one from material existence, or one who is beyond being thirsty for material pleasure can take advantage of this Bhagavatam, which is Vavaushadachtrotram Mano Abhiramat, which is will cure material existence. And in one commentary, I think it was Jiva Goswami says, and this medicine is not bitter. This medicine is sweet. Most medicines are bitter. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur illustrating Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood, Enechi aushadi maya nashi bharo nagi harinam mahamantra now tumi magi, that I have brought you the medicine. The medicine. And that medicine is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One time Srila Prabhupada said, our diet, our medicine is the holy name, and our diet is Krishna Prasadam. If you take if you eat well and take good medicine, you will be cured. So if we take this medicine of chanting the holy name and hearing the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then mano abhiramat, the mind will be satisfied. And then ka uttama shloka gunanuvadat, who can resist this? So Srila Prabhupada bases it on that particular, who can possibly resist? Pumam virajyata vina pashugnat. Only pashugnat, the animal killer. Or Srila Prabhupada translates it as or the killer of the soul. Those who are absorbed in wealth and material enjoyment. The killer. These are the things that kill the soul, which is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, na dhana, na jana, that material wealth, following, being absorbed in the opposite sex, and kavita and fruitive activity. These things, a devotee must give them up. One time, I was just after Srila Prabhupada left this world, many devotees were visiting one of his godbrothers, Sridhar Maharaj. And so I went one time, just everybody was going, so I went. And one devotee asked him, he said, being sincere, he said, I've been practicing for many years, but I still have attachment to ganja. And he said, that is not so important. That will go away. But dana jana sundari, you must be concerned about. If you can overcome these things, then these other little things will go away. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered it so serious, that his Shikshastika, he Durdaivam idvishami hajani nanuraga, that I have no taste. So how will I get a taste? Well, to prepare yourself for getting that taste, you have to trinadapi sunichena. You have to cultivate humility and tolerance. And then I often emphasize this point, amanina. In Shikshastika, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasizes this point twice. Amanina, not anxious to have material recognition, and najana. Material recognition means followers, cultivating followers. I want followers. And so this is a very, very dangerous thing in this world, because the false ego will aspire for these things. So if we actually take advantage of this nectar by giving up the taste for material enjoyment, but you can't really give up the taste for material enjoyment, unless, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you get a higher taste. If you get a higher taste, then you can give up material enjoyment. So in the beginning, we recommend people follow these 4 regulative principles. When Srila Prabhupada, his godbrothers, there wasn't something that was, many people came from a pious background. And in India, still so many people come from a pious background. They follow these 4 regulative principles. It's by piety. But now, thanks to social media and internet, why should we follow these things? I've met some young people and they say this, why should we follow these things? People are deriving so much happiness in the West. But the countries where supposedly people are deriving the greatest happiness also have the greatest suicide rates. Amazing. So-called material enjoyment. So, by Krishna's arrangement, we have this source of happiness. Just like, this, what is being absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna speaks about this. Vishtarayanamo, that when one's Krishna consciousness expands, yogim, when one is a yogi, a bhakti yogi, then what is it? Then one actually becomes detached from material existence. And when that happens, then he says that I want this pleasure of expanding Krishna consciousness by hearing about you. It's not punar. What is the verse? Huh? No, I can't remember the third line. Katayam triptirhi. That. Yes. Yeah. So I hear again, by hearing this again and again and again, then one is never satiated. No. One is never satiated. That one is completely happy in Krishna consciousness. And in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, the same thing. No, vayam tu de na vichiptyatma. That hearing these topics, uttama shloka vikrame, about the wonderful activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is never satiated. Yachtrinvatam rasagyanam. For those who are rasagyana, who actually know how to experience this, and for those persons, swadu pade pade. It increases at every step. And so if we become absorbed in hearing this Bhagavatam every day, not a ritual, not some ritual that I'm going through every day. I go and hear the Bhagavatam. Sometimes we have a tendency to convert Krishna consciousness into something mechanical. I go to Mangalartik. Those who go to Mangalartik, and everyone should do it. It's not that everyone can come here, but everyone should have Mangalartik. Even if you're very busy, you can do 10-minute artik. Even if it's not at 4:30, it can be 5:30. But not beyond the sunrise. That's but at least, when it's still a little dark. And everyone can hear the Bhagavatam. How long does it take to read one verse of Bhagavatam? We read this verse and slowly repeating it. If you just recite it and read Srila Prabhupada's translation and purport, in 5 minutes, and then you can meditate on that, on the train, on the metro, on the in the car, walking. You can meditate on it. So if we take it beyond just a mechanical thing, I go to Mangalartik, we chant Shikshastika, and then, even chanting Shikshastika, we have to try to hear the meaning of each word and meditate. So this is meditation. Mangalartik is meditation. Meditating on the beautiful transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And to be prepared for that, chanting the holy names. Because if I'm chanting, then beyond the name, then the next thing is the form. So if I'm absorbed in the name, then the form will reveal itself. Krishna's form will reveal. He will reveal his form to us. Anyone can see how beautiful these deities are, and my compliments to the pujaris, so beautifully dressed. But when the Lord reveals His beauty, just like in the 4th chapter of Adi Lila, Krishna says, "My beauty is so great, but the beauty of Srimati Radharani, that enchants me." So if we see, and we have the opportunity, we see Krishna's beauty, Srimati Radharani's beauty. We're getting what is considered to be the most intimate, one of the most intimate parts of Chaitanya Charitamrita is being revealed to us right here, right on the altar, according to how much we want to experience it. how much I want to this is not something I do every day. This is new, Nava Nava Yogana, ever new. And we can see ever new. It can be an ever new experience every day. No, we just have to subject ourselves to that. And to do that, as it says in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Munaya Saduprushto Ham, that the Sutta Goswami said, these are questions you're asking. Bhavadbir Loka Mangalam. They are nectar. No, they're perfect questions because they're beneficial. They're nectar for everyone. And so if we hear the question and we absorb ourselves in the answer, yat krita Krishna samprashno, because they're about Krishna. No? Yayatma suprasidati. So it will satisfy the intellect. It will satisfy the self. And then when Shukadeva Goswami begins to speak in the second canto, that's the first thing he says. That Variyan Esha, that these questions, this is Variyan, no? They're wonderful questions because they are lokahitam, because they're beneficial for everyone. We don't, sometimes we can ask questions about something in this world and we can give an answer, but it's not beneficial for everyone. But the Bhagavatam is so beneficial for everyone. And therefore, as much nectar as we can derive from the Srimad Bhagavatam, we should be anxious to give that nectar to others, to explain this Bhagavatam, and to give the Bhagavatam. And of course, sometimes it may be difficult to distribute sets of Bhagavatam, and therefore the BBT here has made transcendent, that you can give it to them in electronic form. Everybody is absorbed in electronic Shastra, or electronic everything. So give them, to satisfy their electronic desire, give them the Bhagavatam and so much more. So, so in this particular verse, and the verse that it reflects, Aho virajita, bina naritaram, this is only accessible for human beings, and only those who live as a human being, they can actually relish this transcendental nectar. So the people who want to cure material existence, that's one category. But those who are actually, they're not looking to stop suffering. They're looking to understand what is the essence, the essence. And that essence, according to Krishna, when he begins to explain to Uddhava, that essence is gunagya sarabhagina. The essence is, those who are looking for the essence, jatra sankirtane naiva, they will find it in the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. So we give the possibility to enter into this Bhagavatam by giving the by chanting the holy name and encouraging others to chant the holy name. Because we encourage people to chant. We can say, we can have a group of people and say, you should chant. But when they see a devotee is absorbed in chanting, then that is convincing. You can't convince someone to chant, because then they will ascribe some material purpose to it. Oh, get rid of suffering. Oh, have more opportunity in life. But when they see the devotees are absorbed in just chanting, it's so wonderful. Just like kirtan. Devotees can go on with kirtan for 3-4 hours. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 72 hours. We can't even imagine that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, usually when he would go visit a devotee, he would stay up all night discussing topics of Krishna. How absorbed the six Goswamis. I want to conclude with this. When Srila Prabhupada, on his morning walks, especially in Los Angeles, when he would come back, the pujari would be there with Mahaprasadam. He would give Srila Prabhupada some pera or burfi, and then each senior devotee would get some maha. So one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, why did the Goswamis just eat a little something in the palm of their hand? They could take Mahaprasadam. Why did they just, Mahaprasad? They made temples, Maha was being offered, and you're supposed to take Maha. So why? And Prabhupada said, because they are eating with Krishna. Otherwise, so absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord that they were living, and they weren't living in this world. They were just, the body was here, and they were executed, but their consciousness was in Goloka Vrindavan. So Prabhupada said they're eating with Krishna. No need to eat here. And it's not that they were giving up eating like us. We have a fast day, Ram Navami. We don't mind the fast days to midday. That's not so difficult. But when till moonrise or till midnight, that's another story. Or Ekadashi, Vrata, if you do it completely. But they weren't thinking like us. I'm going to do this Vrata. They forgot about eating because they were eating with Krishna. They were beyond eating. They were so absorbed in Krishna, just like Mother Yashoda would call Krishna. Oh, Krishna, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She's and Srimati Radharani are the most capable cooks. But Krishna is playing with his friends. He forgets about eating. Even he forgets about eating. And devotees, when they're absorbed in Krishna consciousness, they forget about eating. When we're doing kirtan, when we're doing Harinam, we're not thinking about eating. We're just thinking about chanting and giving this holy name to others. So this is the nectar that awaits us here in the Bhagavatam. Of course, many of you are experiencing that, and maybe it will rub off on me also. I'm hearing about it, and I'm convinced by the association of the Vaishnavas that it must happen, and therefore association with Vaishnavas is so important, because there are so many intangibles, but they become tangible through association. Just the last thing I want to say about this verse is that Jiva Goswami, speaking about another verse, but just something I was thinking about when I read this, he says, Krishna consciousness, hearing about Krishna, Krishna expands Krishna's unlimited mercy and generosity. Otherwise, so many times we hear unlimited. He has unlimited, capabilities. He's omniscient. He's omnipotent. But a devotee who is relishing the rasa of Krishna consciousness, he sees Krishna's unlimited generosity, Krishna's unlimited mercy, Krishna's unlimited nectar. Not unlimited in relation to this material world, but unlimited in what Krishna, when we associate with him, when we actually come to that stage of Krishna consciousness, we can associate with him, we get unlimited nectar. And this is the real unlimited, when a devotee is absorbed in Krishna consciousness, this is the unlimited that they see. They don't see unlimited, universes coming from his body, or unlimited this and that in relation, the secondary unlimitedness. We see the primary unlimitedness. Unlimited, his transcendental nectarian qualities just being, as it says in Gayatri Mantra, just being shot into us with arrows of love. No. So this is what Krishna is offering, and this is what the Bhagavatam is offering. And so I'm very grateful to be here in the association of the devotees here in Chopati, and are known for being absorbed in Krishna consciousness. So thank you for your association, and especially the association of Radhanath Maharaj, that I can get a few drops, and that will, one drop is it's like atomic energy. It keeps going for unlimitedly. So anyway, these are some thoughts I had on this verse, and some things that popped into my mind. So thank you all very much for your kind attention. Any comment or question? Yes. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for this very wonderful class. I was just remembering as you were speaking, just a few months back, I was going for Mangalati to Prabhupada Samadhi, and there was this personality who sort of rushed past me, and I look up and see it was you. So at this age, Maharaj, you are so much inspired to attend Mangalati, as you were mentioning in the class. But the challenge for all of us is that as we become older, we always have excuses as to why not to attend Mangalarti, why not come to Bhagavatam class. So how does one keep that inspiration going? Compared to you, Maharaj, I'm young, I'm 65 years old, you're beyond 75, but I'm already, feeling that I can justify that I'm old. I don't need to, be following the rules that we have to follow every day. So how do we really keep up that enthusiasm, Maharaj? Hare Krishna.
Shravanam Kirtanam. Actually, there was one verse I just want to, this is one of the most amazing verses in the Bhagavatam. It's also one of the longest words I've ever seen. This is 5:8:29. This is how you do it. No. Tad anushravana manana sankirtana aradhana nushmarana viyogena shuna. That's one word. No. So what does that mean? No. That and Prabhupada speaks about it in the worshipping, constantly remembering, absorbed in and filled with unlimited time. Let's see where. When what is it? What are you absorbed in? Constant hearing, thinking, chanting, worshipping, remembering, and absorbed in. No, one word. No. So that's how we do it. No. Just as Devahuti said, no, that Namadeya Shravananu Kirtanad Yat Pravanad Yat Shmaranad, no, Api Kvachit. That's how we do it. Just being absorbed in Krishna consciousness. So anyway, we've already gone quite a bit over time, and so we can stop here. Thank you for your wonderful comment. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.